everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic.com, back again with another quick news update. We have some news on the whole SmackDown side of the Superstar shakeup, which is of course taking place tonight, and the potential backstage presence of a certain Raw superstar. We also have some news on WWE's latest trials that they're holding in a country where I don't think they've held trials before. And also, we have news of, when WWE loan out one of their superstars to an indie promotion, and one of those kind of shock, surprising kind of announcements. We've got one of those as well for a big upcoming independent show, or should I say a big set of shows. But let's waste no further time and let's get straight into it with all of the news. That news concerns the presence of a certain Raw superstar backstage, and it's got very interesting implications, not only in terms of the destination of a certain wrestler, but also the destination of a certain championship as well. Now, according to PW Insider, Jeff Hardy is backstage at tonight's SmackDown tapings, which could mean that he is, of course, moving over to SmackDown as the new United States Champion. Jinder made his Raw debut last night and was immediately defeated by Jeff Hardy in the opening match to become the new United States Champion. So Jinder had a very bad time on his first night on Monday Night Raw, but Jeff had a great time, and I think this led me to think that one of two things would happen given the whole title holder situation. I thought either Jeff would end up on SmackDown, bringing the United States Championship back to the blue brand a day after it switched, or Seth Rollins would end up going over there to SmackDown, as he is, of course, the Intercontinental Champion, the holder of the other secondary singles male title in WWE. Now, if this turns out to be true and Jeff Hardy is indeed the guy who's going over to SmackDown with the United States Championship, I'd be quite pleased. I think this is the better course of action than to send Seth over there and do the sort of traditional switcheroo of the belts that WWE have done during previous brand splits, like a decade ago. I was going to say decades ago, but a decade ago. I'm not quite that old yet. The reason I think this is a good idea is because, well, there's two reasons. One, I think that it really helps establish an even firmer split between Jeff and Matt Hardy. Of course, WWE look like they want to establish Jeff as a singles superstar once again. Obviously, they've given him a singles title, so that plan is really in effect right now. And also, they want to establish Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt as a dominant tag team over on Monday Night Raw. They won a match last night on Raw, which means that they'll go on to face Sheamus and Cesaro for the Raw Tag Team Championship in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia at the Greatest Royal Rumble on April 27th, I believe. But that also means that with Jeff over there, that means that Seth Rollins, the Intercontinental Champion, would still be on Raw, and I really like that, because I really want to see another Shield triple threat done properly with a heel Dean Ambrose making his return. I want to see that, and ideally, this is a very ambitious shout, but I want to see it happen at next year's WrestleMania for a title. I think heel Ambrose versus babyface Seth and whatever Roman is would be a great match. Yes, they've done the Shield triple threat once before. I think it was a Battleground 2016 before the brand split, and it all kind of got overshadowed by the brand split and the destination. Where's the WWE Championship going to end up? Ambrose, of course, won that and took the WWE belt over to SmackDown, where it has remained ever since. However, I think that having all three members of the Shield on the Raw roster is the right thing to do. Not even if that match never happens and it's just me thinking too much about it, I still enjoy the interplay between former members of the Shield whenever it happens, especially if Ambrose returns from injury as a heel. Next up, WWE have announced that they will be holding trials in Saudi Arabia. Obviously, that makes quite a lot of sense. They'll be over in Saudi Arabia pretty soon for the Greatest Royal Rumble. And apparently, there's a whole host of athletes from various different sporting backgrounds that are aiming to get a WWE developmental contract. WWE, in an official announcement, said that there are various different, sporting, high-level elite athletes involved, from team sports like soccer and volleyball to individual sports like CrossFit, and also some martial arts as well. Obviously, WWE these days are very much interested in bringing elements of MMA into their product, as seen by the wild success of Ronda Rousey and also Brock Lesnar, and of course Shayna Baszler, who recently won the NXT Women's Championship. So apparently, in amongst these trialists, there's also some people or someone, it was very vague, but there's at least one person with a background in Jiu-Jitsu and a person with a background in Taekwondo as well. And it goes without saying that, the Greatest Royal Rumble looks to be one of the most stacked shows WWE have ever put on. I think that's fair enough to say. Of course, there's the 50-man Royal Rumble. There's Cena versus Triple H. There's Rusev versus Undertaker. Rusev, of course, is back in the casket match after he was temporarily replaced by Chris Jericho. There's so much stuff. I mean, there's obviously that steel cage match as well between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. And I think that match is the key to show quite how seriously and how immensely WWE are taking this event, because if they do the title switch there after passing on it at WrestleMania 34, that's bold. That's a very bold booking decision indeed, but we'll see what happens. And finally, Progress made a big announcement today involving another superstar who's going to be part of their Super Strong Style 16 tournament. For those who don't know, Super Strong Style 16 is an annual tournament Progress hold every May, so it's coming up pretty soon, where it's basically a single elimination tournament featuring 16 of the best independent wrestling talents from around not only the United Kingdom, but the world of wrestling as well. It always leads to sort of 3 days of really good wrestling action. And it's taking place in a bigger venue than usual. They're holding it in Alexandra Palace in London. So the big announcement here, of course, that they made today is that a WWE-contracted superstar will be appearing in the tournament. That man is Cassius Ohno, currently in NXT. He, of course, has had an in and out sort of relationship with WWE. He was in the company for a bit, then he went back to the independent scene, then he rejoined again. There are rumors, of course, that during his first stint, he was the guy who was penciled in to become the third member of the Shield alongside Rollins and Dean Ambrose. How different would the wrestling world look these days if Roman Reigns was never a part of the Shield? I dread to think. It would be so different. It could be better. It could have been a way better thing. I think most people would agree that Ohno is pound for pound probably a more talented wrestler than Roman Reigns in terms of moves and really indie-rific sort of stuff. But then in the sports entertainment side of things, Roman Reigns is kind of the archetype right now, isn't he, in terms of that sort of WWE style. I'll just run through the other names announced for the tournament so far. So obviously Cassius Ohno, the WWE United Kingdom champion Pete Dunne, who was a former Progress champion as well, Keith Lee, Zack Sabre Jr., Doug Williams, Angelico, who recently left Lucha Underground, Mark Andrews, Flash Morgan Webster, Chuck Mambo, Chris Brooks, Jordan Devlin, a very talented Irish wrestler, TK Cooper, one half of the South Pacific Power trip, sometimes alongside his girlfriend Dahlia Black, sometimes alongside Travis Banks, Joey Janela, famous for, of course, Joey Janela's Spring Break, David Starr, and Tyler Bate, another member of WWE's UK division, and the first ever WWE United Kingdom champion. Now, you may have noticed there that I only read out 15 names, which means there's one name still yet to be announced. Now, I have no idea who that name's going to be. All I know is that it's not going to be Travis Banks because he's the current Progress champion, and that the winner of the Super Strong Style 16 tournament gets a title shot to face the Progress champion. Travis Banks won it last year, and that's how he eventually won the title. So you see how it kind of works. It looks like it's going to be a very, very strong tournament indeed. Cassius Ohno has partaken in it before under his indie name of Chris Hero and put on one of the best matches in Progress history alongside Mark Andrews. So it's a very, very strong lineup, and I'm really looking forward to it. But there's a lot of speculation, obviously, on who the 16th announcement's going to be. Could it be Will Ospreay, a former Progress champion as well? Could he come back over from New Japan? And could he possibly set up one of those big dream WWE versus New Japan matches we sometimes see on the indie scene between himself and Cassius Ohno? That's all for now. Thank you very much for watching this news update. I've been Jack from Cultaholic.com. You can follow me on Twitter at JackTheJobber. You can follow all of us at Cultaholic, very aggressive. And you can check out our Patreon as well, patreon.com/Cultaholic. There's not much more to say, but never forget, of course, to join us.